They hand off to Snell. He's got it. Touchdown, Pittsburgh, back on top. And the Steelers will go for 2. Pickett in trouble. End zone and caught in the back of the end zone for 2.
Oh, Jeff Saturday runs into his first mess as a head coach. This is Interesting to See, a daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, gambling, and the like. I am your host, Nick. My voice sounds delightful this morning, as you can hear. Steelers hang on to beat the Colts by a score of something to something, 24-17, and Jeff Saturday had the ball with 90 seconds left and 3 timeouts, and he did not call a timeout until it was 3rd and 10 with 30 seconds left, which is utterly hilarious. And as a result of that, everyone is roasting him because, why are they roasting him, Nick? That is a great question. Because just over a year ago, he advertised what he and his colleagues at ESPN would be discussing on the show hosted by Mike Greenberg called Get Up. What they would be discussing, you can see it on your screen. We talking clock management in the morning again. Yeah, Jeff, we're talking clock management in the morning again. So I'm going to mute YouTube, and if you want to turn your phone sideways and check it out, we can do that. So here we are. About 1:25 left. Let's go back just a smidge. So 1st and 10 with 90 seconds. Okay. 1st and 10 with 90 seconds. Now we're at a minute. It's 2nd and 17. They have all 3 timeouts. So on 1st and 10, they lost yardage. I think there was a sack. Matt Ryan is old, which we'll talk about in a second. They just were like, yeah, 30 seconds, fuck it. Are they in field goal range? No. Would it matter? Do they need a field goal? No. Are they saving them to try to get the ball back? No. They're just like, Jeff's like, I don't know, man. I like having them. Bro, what? Okay, so then let's play the play. So here's Matt Ryan looking super old. This was amazing. Matt Ryan scrambling up the middle. Of course, he dives. He fucking dives. So let's watch that again. This is amazing. So first of all, Matt Ryan, I'm not saying I could have done this, but it would have been close. So here he is, 5 yards, 10 yards. That guy closes him in. Whoever number 34 is, I don't know. There's a block right there, and Matt right here dives. That's the first down marker. Right, yeah. Okay? So Matt Ryan gives himself up. He's looking at these two guys, and he's like, no, fuck that. Those are safeties. Do they hit hard? Probably. He's like, yeah, winning this game don't matter. That's a business decision. But okay, that's fine. 2nd and 17, you turn it into 3rd and 2, and Jeff Saturday's like, tick, 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 tick. 48 seconds left. There's 47, 46, 35 seconds left. They have not called a timeout yet. It has been a minute. 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2, and they're going to run it. Jeff Saturday's like, we'll run it. We'll use our timeouts. They use one. 30 seconds left. It's 4th and 3. Oh, Jeff. Well, it's hilarious. You deserve it. You've never been a head coach before, and it's a little racist and upsetting that you are a head coach now. So fuck off. Oh, that was hilarious. None of them could do it. I swear to God. I don't understand. I think if we called Madden a football simulator, and coaches were like, I was in football simulators all summer long to learn how to clock manage, I think that the stigma of NFL oorah coaches they think they'd get over it. I think they'd be like, yeah, football simulator. I simulated football all season. Yikes, dude. Like, just utter yikes. After the game, it's amazing what happened. After the game, they asked him about it, and he goes, yeah, I thought we had more time. Yeah, dude. Well, you did. Bro. Oh, man. All right, let's get into some is there anything else I want to talk about? No, let's get into some college ball. We didn't do college. So over the weekend, a lot of big games, rivalry games with stuff on the line, kind of. A lot on the line for Ohio State, Michigan. The game was significantly closer than the score would indicate. Michigan opened it up late with a couple of home runs. There was a really weird interception on a sad shovel pass attempt by Ohio State. Michigan dominates in the latter half of the fourth quarter. They will be the second-ranked team into the playoff this week. They'll play Purdue in the Big Ten Championship, which indicates that the Big Ten has some weird divisioning problems. Also, Notre Dame and USC play. Notre Dame, they don't have quarterbacks or receivers, so the team with the quarterback and the receiver, they just kept scoring, and Notre Dame kind of had a difficult time putting it together. Their quarterback threw interceptions and fumbled, and USC's quarterback is a top 5 player in the country, maybe higher. That's how that goes. So now USC is staring down the playoff. But wait, the only team that has beat them is standing in their way, which is super duper convenient because if they avenge that loss, it'll be easy to put them in the playoff. There won't be a problem. But that team is also really good in Utah. So mayhem still awaits. There's still plenty of mayhem to be had. I don't think Michigan can lose to Purdue. You never know. So the playoff right now is going. So the other one that happened was LSU lost to Texas A&M, which that's the thing with A&M. They suck, but the players are really good. So every now and then they could just be like, "Hey, we're gonna beat you." And A&M, LSU, those are the same recruits. That is the same recruiting hole. They have pushed Texas to the side. That East Texas, Dallas, Southeast Texas, Houston, Louisiana Panhandle area is like perhaps the hottest hotbed of high school football in the country. There are a couple others, but man. So at A&M, they probably hate those kids, and they certainly hate Brian Kelly, I'm sure, because everybody does. So A&M wins. That makes LSU out of the playoff. They were going to be a 2-loss team in the playoff. They are now out. They're out. Also, shouts to Clemson because they needed A&M to beat LSU, or they needed something weird to happen. They needed TCU to lose. They needed USC to lose. Those didn't happen. So right now it's Georgia, Michigan. They beat Ohio State. And then it was TCU and USC. So TCU undefeated, Michigan undefeated, Georgia undefeated, USC 1 loss. Then there was LSU with 2 losses. They had 3 losses. Then after that, it was Clemson with 1 loss, and also Ohio State with 1 loss now is still right there. They have a much better win than Michigan has, except for the win over them, which they lost. So, but Clemson lost to South Carolina, which is fascinating because South Carolina has now beat Clemson and Tennessee back-to-back, and now Clemson and Tennessee will play each other in the Orange Bowl maybe. The really interesting part of that game was that Spencer Rattler, the guy that was a joke last year, just played 2 really good games. He's really talented. He entered the chat for the NFL draft because he was projected top 5 pick last year, and he's, from a talent standpoint, much better than guys like Matt Corral and Kenny Pickett. But he was a tool, so who knows. So now TCU's undefeated. They curb stomp Oklahoma State. Now they're in the Big 12 championship, and these championship games are really interesting because in a 12-team playoff, I find the championship games are going to be really good for getting other teams in. Teams like LSU, right? Right now, Penn State would be in the playoff, which is awesome. They've only lost to Michigan and Ohio State. 2 good losses. No good wins, 2 good losses. Good enough. I mean, Arkansas had like a decade of that. It was pretty fun for them. But TCU could lose to Kansas State 100%. They're having a great year, and that's a great program. TCU and Utah and BYU, when they were in the Mountain West, people didn't really pay attention to how good they were as a program. It's a really good program. TCU did beat Kansas State by 10 at home about a month ago. Utah beat USC, so that's going to be a close one. LSU and Georgia will be close. Michigan and Purdue will not be close. So there's still plenty of mayhem to be had. The important thing to consider here is there is a path. There is a mess where Bama gets in with 2 losses and not even playing in their own conference championship. That is possible. LSU's not going anywhere. So let's just say theoretically, if USC loses, they're out. And if USC loses and they're out, that narrows it down to Ohio State and Alabama. If USC loses to a team that they have already lost to, they are out. If TCU loses to Kansas State, it'll be close. If TCU loses to Kansas State, you got to look at Ohio State and TCU, and uh-oh. If they both lose, Bama's going. Promise. World Cup happens today. One more thing in college football. I forgot about this. We'll get into this maybe a little bit more tomorrow. Auburn has hired Hugh Freeze. They were always going to do this because Hugh Freeze is, of course, a despicable human being. Auburn does not care about that at all. He solicited a lot of sex workers, is the appropriate terminology. He tries to message college girls all the time, slides in their DMs. Which, right? Free country, I guess. Honor codes don't necessarily have to matter. There are some really despicable stories coming out about what he did to girls in high school. Yeah, you can Google that. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow, just like making them take their shirts off and shit. Gross. But he beat Bama twice and almost beat him a third time. So it's an easy peasy open and shut case. And you're going to hear like everybody's got a pass. He's a man of God. Yeah, I bet he is. He's a piece of shit, and this is going to be hilarious. I saw a tweet yesterday that said, well, maybe Nick Saban has discovered the secret to being good at being a college football coach, and it's just being a decent human being. I mean, I don't know if I go that far, but perhaps. Yeah, maybe we'll save that for Controversial Wednesday. The World Cup continues today. We haven't been talking a lot about that. Storylines from the World Cup. Neymar, the best player for Brazil, arguably, is hurt. He'll be out for another couple of matches, perhaps. The United States and England drew, which is a disaster for England, but the USA needs to win. They now have 2 draws, and the USA play Iran and Iran. You can watch some TikToks about people getting mad about that, which is English language is not like other languages. You can just kind of do whatever you want. Regardless, they play Iran today. Mexico and Argentina played. Argentina got upset by Saudi Arabia in an enormous upset that forced them to have to care about these other teams. And now Argentina, it's entirely possible they'll miss. Argentina the heavy favorite to win the whole thing, might not make it out of the group stage. They are currently in second place they're tied for second place with Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia has the head-to-head right now, but they all have to play each other. Poland is in first place in that. So it's Poland, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico. And who would have thought that'd be the group of death? Who would have thought? Wales has been eliminated, I believe. If Wales beat England, no, they have not been eliminated. No. If Wales beat England, that's 4-4, and the Iran, it's not impossible that Iran and Wales move on. It seems super impossible. The only team right now, so you play a round robin of 3 matches. The only team that's undefeated that has 2 wins, there's only one. Wait, just kidding. Brazil won yesterday 2 weeks. There are 2 more now. So Brazil, Portugal, and France all have 2 wins. So they look good. Canada has been eliminated. They have 0 points. They're the only team. I believe, unless something changed last night, yeah, Canada is the only team that's been eliminated. But Canada qualifying is crazy, so good for them. Those are the storylines today. Should the United States just read the room and take the fall? So that Iran can continue to have this platform to bring attention to their country, which is actively revolting. No, fuck that shit. Let's whip that ass. Australia. What? Wait, hold on. Who did Australia play? So France dummied them, obviously. And they beat Tunisia. So Australia and Denmark. If Australia draws, they move on. This is a weird World Cup, man. Lots of cool things are happening. I think Portugal is going to win. That's my hot take. I think Portugal is going to win. Maybe I should bet on that. I should find the odds on that. Like, rate, review, subscribe. We'll review the USA match. I might call in sick for the second half of work today. Might have a little American fever.